Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for our last presentation of the season. We have our monthly presentation September through May, so we hope we'll see you back in September. One of the announcements that I wanted to make today was that our website is up and running. It's a new website, and we're really excited about it, so I hope you will look at that and let us know how wonderful you think it is. So this program started about 50 years ago as a backyard habitat, but it's expanded beyond that to not just yards, but businesses and churches and places like that. Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry about that. Huh? Okay. We have lots of volunteer opportunities, and we'll be talking about that a little bit more coming up. We also just have fun things that we do. We do Kids in Nature Day, and we have guided nature walks. So those are some things if you want to get involved with us that are fun to do. So one thing that's really fun, this is really cool. So Pilot Brewing, which is one of our local breweries, they always feature a nonprofit every month, and so this is our month, and they've actually created a Belgian IPA and put this special label on it, called it Natural Habitat. And so we'll get a portion of the proceeds from this particular ale. So this coming Friday, May 12th, from 6 to 8, some of our leaders will be there with a table, and you can come and learn more about us. Come by, have a glass of Natural Habitat, and you can also get a 4-pack to take home with you. So that's a fun way to support our chapter. Oops. And then you'll be hearing more about this later in the program with our speaker, Natasha Warren. So we're going to be talking tonight about the trees in Charlotte, and then the volunteer opportunity we have is to actually do one of the tree surveys. And this will be in a neighbor in the Northeast Charlotte on Saturday, May 20th, from 10 to 12 a.m., not p.m. Sorry, my typo. It might be fun to do it in the dark, but we'll do it in the morning. So it's 10 to 12 a.m. And we'll have, there is a Sign Up Genius that's been posted on our Facebook page, and it's also on our webpage, so you can sign up through there. The other thing I want to highlight is our Wild on the Water fundraiser. Some of you all may have participated in that before, so you know how much fun it is. This is one of the fun ways we connect people with nature, and it's also one of the main ways that we do raise funds so that we can do the work that we do. So it's on Saturday, June 3rd, from 9 to 12:30. We paddle out to an osprey nest. Laura Domingo will be our naturalist speaker this year. And then we'll come back and have lunch, which is donated by Common Market. And we'll have a raffle of some great prizes. We just picked up a $500 gift card from Great Outdoors Provision Company. We will have an overnight stay for up to 6 people with the nature walk at Wild Haven Homestead up in the mountains. It's one of the most beautiful places in the mountains. And we have just all other kinds of fun prizes. So you'll just have to come and find out what they are. Registration is through May 15th, so don't delay. And now I'm going to turn it over to Natasha Warren, who will be our speaker tonight about the trees in Charlotte and how we keep up with them. Hope, you want to introduce her?
Okay. Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Hope Wright. I am on the leadership team with Charlotte Wildlife Stewards. Sorry about that. Okay, we're fixing something on our end. So I was really lucky to meet Natasha last fall during a tree survey event in South Charlotte, and had a really great experience. I learned a lot about trees. I have a mom who loves trees, but I sort of probably out of rebellion didn't want to learn any of them. But as an adult, I've actually found it to be really interesting. So I really enjoyed that tree survey event and connected with Natasha and wanted to bring her here to talk to all of us and to offer another tree survey for us to help out. and be connected with us. So Natasha works with the city. She's the program coordinator with the arborist group in the city. She can give you more details on that. She also has an MBA and an interest in ornamental plants. So Natasha, we're happy to have you today, and come on over. We'll get you started with your presentation. Alden.
Yeah, you'll have to kind of speak loudly because
Do we need to log out of this one though and pull hers up?
you just stop sharing and feel free to put any questions in the chat. And if we don't get to them during the presentation, then Natasha, I'm sure we'll be happy to answer them at the end of the presentation. So just put them in the chat. We're monitoring the chat today, so we're just gonna switch presentations really quick.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well today. Hi, everyone here in person. As Hope said, my name is Natasha Warren, and I'm with the City of Charlotte's Landscape Management Division. And I am actually a part of the City Arborist Group, which is part of that division. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Tree by Tree, which is this awesome program we have available for community volunteers. Pardon me, be right with you.
It's just a bright arrow.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
Nope, that doesn't work. Okay. Yeah, the buttons aren't working.
Oh, no, sorry. This, right?
I don't know if that's plugged in or not. It's not working. Okay, there we go.
So
You should just be able to use
this one right
that.
there. Okay. So I think the first thing that I would ask you is, I think all of us here are very interested in making sure our tree canopy does well, and we're interested in making sure that we have habitat, of course, right, for wildlife. But when you set that aside, I still would like to know, what do you really think about trees? Because I think there's any number of us who might say, I love trees for habitat and all these different wonderful benefits, but I don't want them in my yard. I want them in your yard. Make sense? So I would urge you to think about it that way. Couple of things that we need to level set about, first of all. When it comes to the city of Charlotte, you've got a couple of groups that are out there making things happen. You have the folks who are in urban forestry, and you have the folks who are in my office. Urban forestry is on the planning side of things, and they're really interested in commercial properties. They're not really interested in things that happen in the right of way. We, landscape management, City of Charlotte Arborist Office, we're responsible for what happens in the right of way, the care of those trees, the maintenance of those trees, and the replacement of those trees. So that's what you need to know. Two different groups, but as you see at the top, both interested in making sure we have that protection along that whole continuum from planting all the way through construction, actually before planting, because sometimes there are existing trees on a site that need to be protected, that may be being developed, right? Okay. Right of way, gotta know what that is. It's measured from the center line of the road all the way out to your property. So if you have a 30-foot right of way, you gotta start at the center of your road and measure out to your property. The seam of your road is not the center line necessarily. Remember that. If you wanna know what yours is and to confirm what it is, you can always call our office, 704-336-4262. That's the Landscape Management Division. And we'll be happy to confirm for you what your right-of-way actually is. Question. How many trees does my office, tree management, maintain? Typing in your chat, people here, and got any thoughts? City right-of-way
Just
trees.
the right of way. Just the
Right of way,
30 foot
so-
buffer.
Planting strip, and let me go back. Right-of-way trees
I
are
would
the,
guess y'all don't know the total, probably.
right-of-way trees are the ones in white crowns of trees, white, those are right-of-way trees. Yellow, private property trees. So I want to know how many of those white trees throughout the city of Charlotte do you think we maintain? Okay. There's a guess, 100,000. Any others? Okay, you're getting warmer. We actually maintain over 200,000 trees. Well, the estimate is at 200, but we think it's probably more than that. City of trees, that's how we label ourselves. But when we say city of trees, we're not just talking about the arborist office or the urban forestry office. We're talking about people we work with. What partners do we have that help make sure our urban forest grows, thrives, is preserved? So that's what we start talking about when we say city of trees. And I'm wondering, I'm not sure that this will let me visit. I don't want to, oh, I touched it anyway. Well, that's how it happens sometimes, right? Okay. I actually did want to look at it, so that worked out well.
You'll have to
I may,
share this again.
okay.
If you want folks
I
online
feel
to
like
see
you're
it.
gonna help me. No. Why don't, can we, yes, let's share that.
Sure. So we're on to the City of Charlotte website. So we're gonna share that with you folks online. We're gonna share the City of Charlotte website, so you guys can see that. Some important resources for everyone here.
Yep.
You can keep talking. I'm just gonna.
Thank you for the rescue there. I appreciate it.
Would you like to scroll to?
I just kind of wanted to take a casual look up and
Okay.
down.
These are
So when you go to this site, I want you to just understand that there's a richness of detail and a robustness of information that's on here. So you need to make sure when you check this out, you take some time to look at some of the different links that are there. You can request a tree be planted. You can, sorry, 1 second.
Is that in Charlotte?
But it is, I think that,
St. Myers Club.
yeah,
Lovely.
it is, Queens Road, yes. You can request a tree. You can add a tree to our tree by tree map, which we're going to talk about today. You can put in a service request. Let's say you have a tree with a broken limb, or you have a tree that seems to look odd, something seems to be wrong with it. You need somebody to come look at it. You can call, you can make a request on this page for one of us to come out, one of our municipal arborist specialists. They're trained, very good folks, to come out and have a look at it, and help determine what the issue might be. In the right of way. Yeah. We get folks that call us sometimes who really need help on private property trees, but we always tell them that, of course, that's out of our purview, but that their next best thing, of course, is to call an ISA certified arborist, International Society of Arboriculture Certified Arborists. And all you got to do is go to treesaregood.com and you'll find a listing there. You can search and find one that may be able to help you. I think so. I was hoping to dig a little bit into this, but I think it's probably gonna be better if we hop back.
You could play around on that website as long as you want.
It's been revamped. It looks really
Oh.
nice. I think that,
You gotta reach.
Oh, really?
I think that,
Stop sharing.
Well, it's gone. Okay, there's new share. Resume slideshow. Can you see it?
Mhm.
I think I
Yeah.
won a couple.
and I apologize, folks, if you can hear me coughing. 'Tis the season, pollen season. And we had some heavy winds and stuff, so yay me. So the benefits of an urban forest, I think we all can understand the benefits from a personal perspective, how the trees make us feel, how they look to us when we go outside. But there are some other things that are really great about trees. If you plant them in the right place, they can help you decrease your energy costs. I think that's a great one that folks really like to know about. Increased home values. I mean, who wouldn't want that? You know, you get ready to sell your house, and because you've got a couple of large, beautiful trees on your site, you can maybe get a little more money out of your particular house. So those are just things to think of that might be extra benefits. Click on the screen. On the screen. Oh, I see. On the trackpad. Okay. Oh, I see. I got you. Yeah. Okay. I'm learning. By the time I leave here, I'm going to be an expert, and things will go smoothly then. Continuing on that line of thought, cleaner air and carbon capture. These are things you all may be very familiar with. The stormwater runoff. We definitely want to mitigate that. Absolutely. And then we want our city to be beautiful. That's something we all are kind of looking for
You can just use it.
now. And so here you have a 10-year-old that's going to tell you why trees matter to her. Homes for animals. I mean, this particular kid loves squirrels. So, I mean, she may be the only person that loves squirrels, but she loves squirrels. And she thinks that we can provide food for the community. Many of you may have heard of community orchards. I don't know that we have any in Charlotte. If we do, there are probably only a few, but that's the sort of things that came to Jenny's mind when she talked about why trees were important. And then the climbing, of course, who can forget that? And I have a did you know? Okay, this is another question. How many certified arborists do you think that our group has, the tree management group? If you had to guess.
Less than 5.
Okay. What's 5? Okay. Folks online, type in the chat. You want to take a crack at it? Okay. So the answer is, in the whole landscape management division, which is what the arborist group is a part of, there are 19 certified arborists. Most of them are in the city arborist group. 14 of those are tree risk assessment qualified, which means they have a special certification in risk assessment, which comes from the International Society of Arboriculture. These folks are experts. I think that as a public entity, it's often thought that they're just government workers. Get five of them together, they stand around the hole might or might not get dug properly. But that's not always the truth. These folks, they're educated, they put the work in, they go to classes, they study hard, they learn. I mean, they're climbers, they're the real deal. So I think it's just something that we should share more and more often. And I hope you'll take pride in knowing that if you live in the city, that those are the folks that are taking care of the right-of-way trees. We worry about our urban forests for a lot of reasons. We know that there are a lot of things that we have to guard against. We definitely know that these in this list, those are the ones that we're most trying to push hard against. So let's just take another look. We'll dig a little more deep. Aging canopy. We love Queens Road, and they're not the only part of the city that has very large trees. There are actually other parts of the city that have very large trees, but they're aging. They've been in the ground for 100 years. We have pictures actually of them being transplanted and how big they were when they came in on a cart being pulled by a horse. So yes, so when a canopy gets that old, there's stuff you have to do to help it. You have to maintain it, manage it. Stuff they have to come down. There are replacements that have to go in. There's planning that's a part of that, and you need a talented staff to be able to do that. This is a good example of what tree loss can look like when it comes to development. I think often folks think, oh, it's just it's the shopping centers that cause the most tree loss. Because you look out and you see they're going to build this brand new store and they completely raise everything on the property. You see this and you're like, oh my gosh, not that long ago on that corner, it was completely full of trees. And now it's huge. You drive by it every day and it looks horrible. But if you look here, you see private property is what we're finding is the real culprit. Not that the others don't count, it's just that the main one is development. Insects, diseases are something that we have to be watching for, mindful of. Cankerworm, it has had a lot of front page, newspaper space over the years. If you're interested in being a part of the counting, the tracking that is done for cankerworm every year to help us know what's going on, because we have scientists who are actually tracking this here in our city. Our city arborist is actually she's an entomologist. So Lori, yes, Lori Reed. She is fantastic. Yes, sir. One of the gentlemen here is talking about how fantastic Lori is, and I have to agree. But if you want to be a citizen scientist, go to this site and find out how you can plug into that program and help count cankerworms in your area. I will say though that these days you're not really seeing much. But if you want to keep an eye on it, keep this site in mind. Storms. Storms are on our big list. And this is just something we have to be prepared for as much as we possibly can. And that's the responsibility of the Landscape Management Division to be fully prepared. And that's an interesting situation because you'll have mainly the city arbor staff sort of tackling that problem, if you will, but it's not unusual to have an all hands on deck approach to dealing with storms. It won't just be the city arborist group, it'll be the landscape management division. So there'll be people in other parts of that division doing that work. And then people from CDOT will come, equipment gets used from different parts of the city. So depending on what storm response is needed, storms are a really big deal. And that is something that is threatening our canopy that we need to try to be prepared for. And we need lots of money to do that. It's expensive. Here's a nice little old lady that I know. I call her that because she's my mom. So yeah, so I wish I could have recorded her face when she gave me this quote. It was unbelievable. When she got to the part where she said, every spring, the trees are like a warm hug from nature. It was like she was holding a cuddly teddy bear, the way her body just scrunched up and she just had this smile on her face. But I get it. Trees matter in different ways to different people, but clearly my sweet mom thinks of them as a hug. Okay. Next question. I'm gonna throw y'all for a loop. How many cemeteries does the city run? Okay, 10. I got a guess here in the audience for 10. Chat, just typing in, folks.
2 in the chat.
2 in the chat. 10. Anybody else?
0.
0. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we got a big fat 0 here. Okay. Well, the number is 7. We have 7. And I think the number of acres is 200 acres. It's a lot of acres. Yes. Sorry. let me back that up. We do, yes, 200 acres maintained, and we actually do 500 interments every year. So yeah, it's that'll, and you'll see that as you look at some of the sites I'm going to share with you. Evergreen Cemetery is one of those. Yep, that's one of those. Oh,
Does that count as right of way? Is that part of Charlotte Park?
it's I guess it's part of the city's I don't want to call it landscape portfolio. That's not quite a property portfolio. And I think that we have been the ones that have historically run those. And I'll tell you this, the fellow that's running things right now, he's a tremendous individual. I know y'all probably feel like I'm just gushing, but I mean, these are great folks. They're talented, they're smart, they know what they're doing. I think that they're in a good place. They've come a long way. One of them is has been, I think it's been designated an arboretum because of the number of tree species. I think, that's pretty interesting to know. You wouldn't think that, but that's a really cool thing. So here we go. We're going to dig into tree plotter. Community support. This is where tree plotter connects the dots. You have to have the support of the community for all of this to work. I said a whole lot of stuff up to this point. It was all great stuff. The city, city manager, staff, mayor, council members, they're all working together to make sure they budget the way that they think they should. All that's good. There are different agencies that are out there that are doing things. Tree Charlotte's one of those. We've talked about private land, public land, but if you guys don't care about it, it's really not going to make much difference. It's just not. And what that's really going to do, if you say you don't care, I'm not sure how many resources or how much of their shoulder council is going to put behind it either. It's got to matter to the community. And I think that because you said you want it, this is why we are able to get done what we need to get done. And we need more of that. We need you to speak up more, tell us more, say more, make suggestions, keep asking questions, participate in tree by tree, and we already tell you how. So, tree by tree is a volunteer tree inventory. It's brand new. Hope was part of our first class. So I can tell you that the launch was a soft launch. It was quiet, but I'll also say that we learned a lot. I think we now know the tweaks that we need to make the program really robust, the way we want it to be. I know we'll continue to learn more, but I think we got some great takeaways from the first one to get us off to a good start. So this particular inventory program is new for us, and we have a website. You see the website there, and I'm almost afraid. I'm afraid to click it because I don't know where it's gonna go. Let me see what's up next, and then I'll make the decision. Okay, how about this? Why don't we look at the next few slides, and then we'll come back and look at the site. Does that sound okay? Yeah, then you get a feel for what it looks like. So at our launch, one of our certified arborist was there. His name is Michael Feltz. He is the senior municipal arborist specialist. What that means is he's the guy who, when one of you calls and has a service request, you say, I have a limb hanging, I think my tree looks funny. His group is the group that goes and investigates. And then they decide what needs to happen. They make notes, observations, and then it goes to the work team, the folks that execute the work. So he's the one who sees it first. Great group of folks, but Michael was out there with us that day and helped us to learn a lot, and helped us to understand how Tree by Tree as a program could not only just show people how to put trees on a map, but also show them what else is out there to see. What is on the leaves of your tree? What is the bark supposed to look like on your tree? Really looking into some of the other details. Did you notice that there's a whole clump of leaves that are missing in this area? That sort of thing. So I think that he really helped us to explore how you can make it more than just walking along a road, putting trees in a map, because it is about more than that. Erin is our division manager for landscape management. I can't agree with her more about this. Trees really do inspire awe. I mean, they when you look out and you see a majestic oak, you can't help but sort of think, wow, how did that get that big? That, holy cow, that's huge. You think about the sequoias out in California, things like that. Those are the things you think about when you think about trees, and and how awe-inspiring they can be. Tree by Tree is that invitation, that formal invitation to say, come out and come experience more of what that awe can be. Today's final question. Let me see. I have so many. There's so many trivia questions. So many great ones. Oh. This is more of an open-ended question. It's not really trivia. What is the thing that if you could have it, what would you like to see the city provide to you when it comes to tree education workshops, any kind of educational opportunities, classes, walks through neighborhoods to just see what's out there. Because we do walks through the cemeteries and things like that. What would you like to see? We would love to have your ideas, and if you could type those in the chat, or if you guys have those here, you can write those down for me, or I can take those down before we wrap up. I think that we would appreciate having the opportunity to hear more from you about what that would look like.
Could you repeat that?
Yes, I can. Okay. Lovely gentleman about midway through the rows here. Awesome suggestion. Said he would love to see in the Charlotte Observer local section regularly something that, or write-up articles that talk about alternatives to alternatives to planting grass, or to alternatives to what you do with grass. Is that about it?
Yeah, and if there's, not just one.
And he says he wants that monthly from our office. Okay, so that would come, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Well, that's the other thing.
We also had heard benefits of planting native trees. What else? What was the other? I heard. Oh, and he said that he wanted to make sure it came from our office. I heard that. What else?
There's some in the chat.
Oh, yes. Please share. What was in the chat?
So, how to control the growth of trees, their roots and canopies in order to save sidewalks and roofs. Education on invasive species. I've forgotten most of my trees, so a tree identification class.
Ah, tree ID.
Great.
Okay, that person is after my own heart, because tree ID is, I love that.
And then we have questions. I'll save those for the end.
I've had my house for 15 years and I did not know what trees, it's really heavily wooded, but I did not know what all the trees were.
Yeah. One woman here was sharing that she has a yard that she's lived in this house how many years? 18 years, and didn't know what the trees were. And so I think tree ID, that's a really wonderful idea. Did you?
There needs to be some education for developers
Okay.
About the benefits of having trees on lots, and is there a better way than just going in and clear cutting and then sticking in a few little twigs here or there, that doesn't really count, or putting in crepe myrtles, yeah.
So we just had a suggestion of education for developers on the benefits of planting trees on their properties rather than just planting a tree here or there. Was that fair? Okay. Okay. Okay, we have a question.
When developers are creating a new business, required to leave
Requirements. So the question is about tree save requirements in residential subdivision development. One of the things that I know some of you are probably familiar with is that some of that, those ordinances are changing. I don't know how much some of the numbers are changing or the specific requirements are changing, but tree save has always been something that the city has been interested in. And we always want developers, property owners, private property owners to make it a point to try to do just that. One thing that's, I think, absolutely important as well is they do have to plant street trees. And so that's actually not a bad segue into us looking at the site, because at the event that you all are hosting with us on the 20th, that is part of what we're going to be doing. Is the developer has finished doing the building, the roads have been accepted by the city, the trees are already there, but we need to go in and make sure they get put into the inventory. So that's what this is about.
I do have 2 questions in the chat. If you want to answer these now.
Sure.
So the
I'll try.
the first question is, will Charlotte participate in My City's Trees by the United States Forest Service, FIA, USFS, FIA?
Okay, so I do not know the answer to that question. That's probably a question that, well, it's not probably, that is a question that I can take back to our city arborist. I feel like if anybody has a shot at knowing the answer to that, that's Lori, because she's the one that handles all of our, like making sure we're involved in those types of programs, national programs, Arbor Day, all that's her wheelhouse. So I'll have to ask her that question.
And the other question was, is there a hotline to report bad treatment behavior?
Oh my God. Is there a hotline for? Yeah, I think that, I mean, when you talk about city trees, ones that the city of Charlotte that we're maintaining that belong to us in the right of way, you need to just let us know. If you see something that you think that we need to check on, just call us and we'll put in a service request and Michael's group will go check it out. That's really the best way to handle that. And you can call 311 to do that. I think you can also, actually, I know you can use the CLT app. If you have that downloaded, you can do that as well to make a service request, and on the website. So just let us know. We'd rather take a look at it than have you wondering or angry at your neighbor or, we have a question here from a gentleman.
The Parks and Rec, city office, what did they do? Concentrating on trees.
Okay.
I see that all the time. A lot of other parks where
So the question is about Parks and Recreation and the city. What are their efforts when it comes to planting natives on their property? I can't speak for Parks and Recreation because they're county, they're a separate entity, of course, than us. But as far as the city of Charlotte goes, we're always interested in natives. In fact, one of the things that Lori has been working with this team on is coming up with a new list of recommended plants to put on the tree management website, because we want to make sure you as the community have that. And what you'll find is that list, many of the plants that are there are going to be also on the list that is used for development. So
does the city,
we like natives, like for our roadways, for street tree planting. That's definitely something that we're always looking
Is the
for.
city coordinating with the county?
I don't know about that. Again, that's an area I'm not familiar with. I'm not sure. The question was, two questions. The first was, is the city coordinating with the county on the native species list? And the other part was, is there a county arborist? I'm sure the county has folks with proper credentials, with the proper credentials to do the work that they need to do in their county parks. I mean, it makes sense that they're going to have people who have the right certifications. I think we have.
Look, from some experience that I've had working with water services, so like they maintain Chantilly Ecological Sanctuary, and they are putting in native trees and native, working on removing invasives. So I can't speak for what they're doing in the parks and that sort of thing, but I know some of the properties that Stormwater is managing, they're putting in native.
Okay, yeah, stormwater services, yeah, that definitely you're right. But as far as like the county parks, I can't speak for the parks. Stormwater services, yes, that what you just described, someone from the audience was explaining to me that she knew that that was the process that they used, that they wanted to use natives on their projects. But as far as the county parks, I can't confirm that, but it would seem like it would be in keeping with what most of us as public entities are doing, is to plant native species. I don't know why they wouldn't do that.
The bad news is that when they put in the dialysis center, pull those down all the trees and said, oops, and they planted six right behind us. That's bad news. But in the good news department, some of the renovations they did off this way near the shopping center, and a house at the corner of East Way that has become a doctor's office, and there was a lot of controversy about that. He actually planted red buds around.
So we were just hearing from a woman who was describing how in East Charlotte she's witnessed some of the not so positive things that have happened with tree removal, but has seen also some positives when it comes to removal of Bradford pears, which are invasive, as you all probably know. And if you didn't know that, you do now. And now those have been replaced with red buds. So that's a really good story. That's great to hear. We have another question here. Wow. So this gentleman here is describing how in Mount Pleasant, it was, you had to get approval. Let me make sure I say this right. Approval to remove any trees that, okay, sorry, trees of a certain diameter in a historic district. You had to get approval first. And his question was, do we see a time where the city would move toward doing something similar, where you have to get approval to remove a tree? I think that is one of those, it's one of those tough spots, because you want to make sure, and I'm putting on my citizen hat. When I hear your question, it makes me want to put on my citizen hat. And it's sort of like, yeah, I think it's true. We should do what we can to preserve the canopy. We should make sure that we have great habitat. we have enough air to breathe. I mean, all of those, yes, absolutely. But then there's this thought of, well, you know, I bought this property. It's kind of mine, and the tree came with it. And who are you to? So I'm sensitive to that on actually both sides. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I don't know where the city would head with some of that. I think it's, you just would want to be careful with it and make sure you honor people's right to have their own spaces and things like that. I mean, I don't know.
Are the heritage trees, are those designated by the city, or is that just like a private organization?
So I don't really know anything about the heritage. The question was about this heritage tree program, and I unfortunately I don't know enough about that program to answer.
Program finding old treasure trees and finding out a big list, and then going out and finding, you know, are they still there? And that's it. I want to know more about that. Except for program treasure trees.
So, so one of the wonderful women here was saying that maybe we need to have, well, that you all need to have a presenter on treasure trees. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Maybe I'll please invite me, because clearly I need to learn something. Okay. Well, why don't we just have a little bit of a look at the website. I'm sure that's mainly what you all are here for. You're like, why did this take so long? So this is the landing page for the tree by tree volunteer inventory. There's a lot to see here, and I think it can be a little bit intimidating at first, but try not to panic about it. I think the main thing you'll want to make sure that you do first is just read everything slowly, scroll down. Thank you. Do I need to take that?
You can put it here.
If you scroll down, you'll sort of read through, you'll get a very basic description of what this is for, what you need to do first, which is to create your account. There are some videos there to help you actually see what it looks like step by step to create an account or whatever else it is you want to do. And there's an important disclaimer here that you need to realize that this information right now is it's static, meaning it's a snapshot and it gets uploaded, and then another time period later, we're hoping no less than twice a year, the static snapshot is taken again and uploaded. The point here is we are looking toward having this be live, meaning it's updated, it's refreshed constantly. We're not there yet. We're working on it, but for now, that's the way this is how it has to work. So you just want to be careful when you're trying to put this information out there as fact. When you're referencing it, you'll need to make sure you add this on, that it is a snapshot, okay? So please keep that in mind. Oh, there's the tree count right there, 201,521. Here you get a little information about what you're going to find or what information you'll be able to glean from the site. What you're seeing here is the eco benefits based on the 201,521 tree count. That's what that is. Now, if you go on here, you've logged in, you've got yourself all set up, and you click on one of those colorful dots, You're going to get information about that single tree. And if you ask to see the details about that tree, you're going to be able to see more information about what its species is, the diameter, if it's been put in there at breast height. You're going to be able to see lots of different details about that tree by clicking on that dot and bringing up that detailed form. One of the things you're also going to be able to do is, if the right pieces of that form have been filled out, you'll be able to generate these numbers for that particular tree. You'll also be able to do that for a group of trees that you select. You'll also be able to do that for all the oaks in Charlotte, for all this, but remember, there are certain fields, and I'm going to show you this on this form, that have to be filled out for it to generate these numbers. If they're not, it's not going to give you what you need. So here's your get started. You're going to tell us about yourself. You're going to do username and email. I've already done this, so I'm not going to work through this process here. Username or email. You can go through Google or Facebook. You're going to verify that you're not a robot, and then you're going to log in there. So that's how you generate that. That's a pretty quick process. Then, it wants me to log in. I'm going to log in super quick. Thanks for bearing with me. Okay, so I'm logged in now. I'm going to actually go back to the home screen so it looks like what you're going to see. Go down. So you've created what you need for your sign in. You can add trees this way. It will also show you it'll show you what you've already added. So let's say you've been into this system 20 times, it'll show you what you've already added. The number, type, that kind of thing. This will show you activities, like if you've mulched, if you've decided to keep track of these things for the trees in front of your home, for example, you can keep track of it here. It'll show you all that, what you've decided to report on. And then this is an area we're filling out, the connect area. We're going to be giving you information about all the things you see there: maintenance, planting, training, any things that are going to provide opportunities for you to connect with the canopy and care for the canopy the way we're asking. Why don't we add a tree? Let's see if we can do this. We'll just pick from the list. And there are a few ways to do this. This is just one way. Why don't we pick let's say we want to put in a flowering dogwood. We have one of those at our house. And there's only one. We'll click submit. So it says it's added it. Let's see if we can zoom to it, what it looks like.
What's to stop people from adding the trees on their private property?
So we want you to add those.
Okay.
Question was, what's to stop people from adding the trees on their private property? We want you to do that. Please go ahead and add your trees on your property, track the trees on your property, give us the details, get your neighbors to add their trees on their property. This is what this is for. And again, if we're saying that most of the canopy is on private property anyway, probably not bad to start. putting some of that in here. Yeah, I mean,
Are those dots on the street trees?
so they are. And if you see this one right here, it's got a little blue line around it. That's the dogwood that we just put in. These others are street trees. They're a little off. They sometimes don't show you right in the planting strip where they are. That's just how it looks. Try not to panic when you see that. It's actually okay. But
I added my trees to my yard on this, and I was, you could actually, like, it was a little trick, you know, a little learning curve to it. Like I was able to put the trees
yeah,
maples back, ash up on the corner, and maybe.
someone here was describing their experience with using this and moving around trees on their property, or naming or showing them accurately on the map. And I think that's exactly what we want you to do, is to try it out and see how it works.
And then it would show up not right away.
So if, let's say you put your trees and they're, you put your trees on the map the first time you log in. Excuse me. Pardon me. When you log back in, they'll still be there. But what is going to happen is we are going to upload the data that you put in. We're going to take all of that, we're going to upload it into the program that's really tracking everything right now. And then there's sort of this download, upload thing. All it is, it's one system talking to the other, basically. That's what's happening. So this platform is talking to an internal platform with the city. That's what we want to happen. We want it to do it automatically, but right now it doesn't do that. So we have to do this upload, download thing. I don't know if that makes sense exactly, but that's
Sit out there on one, and then when
yes.
you upload it, it'll.
Perfect. That's a great way of saying it. It sits whatever data you put in when you use this, it's going to sit out there on Tree Plotter. And then when we're ready, we're going to pull it over, and then it'll be officially on the map. So, but I wouldn't worry too much about any of that. I mean, at the end of the day, once it's in here, you can pretty much feel good about the fact that it's where it needs to be. Because we're the ones that are going to be in the background kind of hassling and fussing and fighting over how to make that one-to-one sort of instant update happen. So you've got your dogwood here. You can look at the details about this tree here. There's nothing to see yet because you haven't entered anything yet. But these are all items that you can fill out. You're gonna need to make sure it has a species name, a condition, and and crown light exposure. Those are the things you have to have in order to generate the eco benefits that you saw on that first page. If you don't if any one of those is missing, it won't have the information it needs to do that. So make sure you put those things in. If you don't put those in, we're not going to mind. It's okay with us. You can just put it on here. You don't even have to tell us what species it is. You can just put it in. That's fine with us. Great if you know it. If you don't, you know, that's okay too. Okay. So you can tell us all this different information. You can pick from the list. There's lots of different ones, huge list, Latin names if you prefer, number of stems. So there's that, and that's your tree details. These are the ones that have already been accepted, if you will, onto the map officially. And so you can't really do much with those. I mean, even if you delete that, it's still not really gone because we still have it on the, it's just gonna get uploaded and put back on there again. Um, I'm gonna show you how to delete it really quickly. Go back to details and just click delete and it's gone. Okay. If you want to move it, this is called the move tool up here. Click on move, and I can't remember if it's a drag. Oh, there it is telling me. Click and drag. If you're on a cell phone or another personal device, I think it's a click and then a click. So you click the tree and then you click where you want the tree to be, and then it pops over. But in this case, it's click and drag. And it's going to ask you 2 times what you just say yes. Just yes, yes. And then it moves it. So, and then, so we added, we deleted, moved. And I think one of the final things I would say is if you have multiples that you want to put in, you can go back to the home screen, scroll down. I cheat this way. Oh, I don't cheat that way. Let's see. Here it is. Add trees. I click add trees. This is where you're really going to do well if you're trying to add more than one. You can plot a bunch of trees by, instead of, as I said, picking one tree, one type, you can tell it you want more than one. So no, I don't want to do that. Here we go. It's better. Okay. Let's put them here. And then it's going to ask me what kind. Sweet gums. We want lots of gum balls. Lots and lots in that open area. And we'll put 10. We'll put those in there. Okay. This is the thing that's going to drive you nuts, but we can't fix it yet, or we may not ever be able to. But it puts them in there one on top of the other. It just does. So you have to take each one and you have to, yes, yes, move. Yes, yes. But I'll be honest with you, that's much better than having to go back out and in. And so then you can take each one and you can decide what kind you want it to be. That sort of thing. That is just a really, really basic introduction into this. This is what's going to be happening at the actual event on the 20th. We'll be going through this kind of exercise, locating trees, entering them in the field, or out in the neighborhood. But there's a lot more power to this than just that. And you can see that by going to the hub. You can do reports, print statistics. There are lots of other tools so that you can, write on different things. I mean, there's a lot to see. And under the support section, you can go to support.treeplotter.com, and that's going to show you a bunch of tutorials for how to use some of the stuff that's on here that maybe we haven't covered or that you want to dig into on your own. I just got a time check, which I'm so grateful for. Thank you, Hope. There's so much to say. So you remember how I said you could see all sweet gums or all this or all that? The way you do that, I'm just going to click home because I like it nice and clean. You can toggle the species here. See that? You can toggle all, and then you can just click like, well, it's not a tree, but well, maybe some people think it is. Yeah, it does get big, that's true. So you can click that, and then you see how all the dots disappeared. So if you zoom out, those dots will still be there, and then you'll see where those are in the city. And I don't think there are that many. There are 176. So anyway, you get the idea. You could pick several species so that you could see all of those in a particular view. This is going to be very helpful to you, this bar right here, because this is your easy sort of quick zoom in and out, taking you back to the home. This will take you to the exact location that you're at. It's GPS. So wherever you're sitting using the software, that's where it's moving to. So that's really convenient for adding trees. This guy is going to ask you to put in an address. Where do you want to go? These are some really cool advanced filters that would probably take a little time to dig into some more in the future or out in the field. And there's your base map, and here's how you get some support. Now support, remember this is important too. Support doesn't go to us, meaning City of Charlotte. This support here is talking about support for issues with this particular type of platform, which is called Tree Plotter Tree Inventory Platform. Tree by tree volunteer inventory, which is what city is doing, that is ours. And if for that, you need to call City of Charlotte Landscape Management, or from the tree management page, contact us through there. You need to do it that way. So these are not, so if you try support there, you're gonna find tutorials and things like that, but you're not gonna find like me or Lori or one of the other team members. So I know that was fast, but I think it was really important to sort of tie in why something like this was important to what we were trying to do before, or what we'd already said our goals were, which was preservation, planting, management of the urban forest, and how we wanted to make sure everyone who lives in Charlotte knows that they play a role in that, and that we wanted to try to inspire them to take that on and join us in that. Okay. Well,
There's one question in the chat. What is the city's plan to ensure our canopy is biodiverse?
so the question was about being biodiverse when it comes to the canopy. Everyone that I speak with and work with, from the urban foresters to, which is in the planning department, to our team, which would be Lori Reed, City Arborist Office group, we want it to be diverse. And so when we see tons and tons of crepe myrtles or what have you planted, or tons and tons of red maples, it's probably time to do something a little different. And they manage that. I mean, they monitor that, I should say. They monitor that so that they can figure out how to manage that and how to add more diversity in through tree planting. So it's intentional. It's really intentional. It's not something that gets forgotten or left to the side. It's part of the work. It's just it's woven into the work. Anything else in the chat?
That's it for the chat.
Okay.
Thank you.
Get back to your presentation. You're all good?
I
Okay.
think that-
Any other questions or? All right. Thank you,
you.
Natasha.
Thank you again, and it was nice meeting all of you. And please join Hope and everyone on the 20th. I'll be out there and would love to see you. Will be plenty of smart landscape management staff out there to help you to do what you need to do. So don't feel like it's going to be this hard thing that I don't know what to do. We'll work on it together.
Thank you. Thank you, Natasha. And again, we'll be doing that survey on May 20th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And you can sign up through our website, our new website, or you can find it on our Facebook page under the events. And that's going to end our online portion for tonight. And we thank you for being here. Good night.